to step back a little bit. Welcome to Meatball Obsession Plus and celebration with the Mayor Raz Baraka and with our team and with all of you. We thank you for coming this afternoon. And before we start, a little bit of housekeeping as always. There's going to be 3 parts of this presentation. The first part's going to be about 25 speeches. The second part is going to be a ribbon cutting. And the third part is going to be a celebratory toast. All right? So that's the order of things to come. I want to tell you a little bit about me. My name is Paul Bartik. I'm CEO of Meatball Obsession and Meatball Obsession Plus. But you can call me Meatball Paul. Okay? And we opened here January 4th, 2018. So we've been open for about 5.5 months. And we have thoroughly enjoyed being here. We've enjoyed it for several reasons. One is, the reason why we chose Newark, we've had stores in Newark, in New York, in Boston. We have a store in Ohio. We're at Boston College. And the reason why we chose Newark, because we believe this is a burgeoning city on the precipice. I believe, and I think many of you believe, that Newark is the new Brooklyn. And I believe that this city, under the Honorable Raz Baraka's leadership, is really going to take off. And so we have Meatball Obsession Plus. Just let me give you a little history. Our recipes, we're grandma-centric. Everything we do, we have a sign over there that says, you know, grandma is our true north. If grandma didn't do it, neither do we. And what we mean by that is that our roots go back to 1921 when my partner, Dan Mancini, his grandmother came here from Bari, Italy, and landed in Brooklyn. And Dan grew up every Sunday afternoon, and I'm really jealous about this. Every Sunday afternoon, his grandma would cook, and Dan, as a toddler and as a young man, would be sitting at the kitchen counter learning all these recipes. And Dan, when he started working, he did not go into the food business. He started manufacturing clothes. And after about 25 years of a great run, he decided that he'd had enough. And he decided he wanted to make his living out of making his grandmother's meatballs. And that was our blessing. And so we opened a company called Mama Mancini's in East Rutherford. And they're the ones that produce our meatballs. And Meatball Obsession is all about local sourcing. We have a sign up here. Everything we do here, we do our meatballs through Mama Mancini's, East Rutherford. Our cheeses come from Antonio's Mozzarella Factory right here in Newark. Our ravioli comes from Ravino Pasta, which is in Millington. Our bread comes from Northside Bakery, which is in Brooklyn. And our chicken parm, which I think is the finest in the city, comes from Belgione, which is a deli in Montclair. And for those who don't know, our meatballs are rated the best in New York City. So if you haven't tried any, you'll have a chance after this to try some of our sliders. So we came to Newark because our roots and our investors' roots are much in Essex County and Newark. Our chairman, Steve Burns, you'll be hearing from next. He has a business in Lincoln Park, and he's been part of the rebuilding of Newark. And I wanted to bring our team out because we do this. If you read our Yelp reviews, you'll find out 3 things. We have fantastic food. We have a great buzz in this beautiful building, and we have the best, remarkable team. Team? Come out for a minute. So I do want to introduce our team. Melissa, our general manager. Tayshawn, little chef. Ida Mae, and Stefan. We've been in business in New York City since 2012. We serve the same food, but what I know is that when we have a great staff and a great team, revenue increases multifold, and when we don't, they don't. So it's all really about the team, and I do want to give it up to them. So one of the reasons why Newark is near and dear to my heart is that in 2009, with Zach Braff, we executive produced together a film called Heart of Stone. Heart of Stone is the story of Weequahic High School and how Ron Stone, the principal then, may he rest in peace, and how Raz Baraka, when he was assistant principal with Mr. Stone, how they produced and developed a conflict resolution program to be used for the warring parties, to be used for conflict resolution so that the Crips and the Bloods who were on campus would use words instead of weapons to work out their differences. And that was an extremely successful program. And Heart of Stone, which you can find, I believe, on Netflix at this point, is their story. And it's truly an amazing story, mediocrely told by us, but really an amazing story. So with no further ado, I would like to talk a little bit, talk about that later. Let me introduce my partner in crime, Steve Burns, who is our chairman of the board. Steve?
You all have no idea how much we love Newark. Mr. Mayor, other distinguished guests, thanks so much for coming today. My little tour of Newark started in about 1994 with Habitat for Humanity, where we built several homes over in Habitat Village on South Orange Avenue. Went from there. It was time for my partner and I to leave. We said, hey, it's time for the next generation to lead Habitat for Humanity. But that was fun. Let's do it on our own. So we sought out to find a neighborhood in Newark, and we found Lincoln Park to be that neighborhood where we would start developing. Bought a 1830s horse-drawn wagon factory and turned that into the first apartment building on the block. And from there, we've built several other buildings, a charter school, and our office building on Lincoln Park, among others. And we love the continuation of our work in Newark. Meatball Obsession is a natural extension of this, where there are people, there needs to be restaurants, there needs to be food, and having this perfect spot. And my heart goes out to Anton Lender, who had the foresight to build this. I met Anton when I was on the board of Greater Newark Conservancy, and we became friends. He had this space. He said, "Hey, come on in. Let's take a look." And he said, "Yep, it's time to open up a restaurant in Newark for our own." And we're very proud of Meatball Obsession. We do have great food. We have great people. We have great leadership, and I hope you enjoy our product. Thank you for coming and joining us today.
All right, our next distinguished guest is the managing director, the executive director of Bridges. And the reason why they're so important and close to our heart is, you'll see this wall here. We started a program 3 weeks ago called Pay It Forward. And the reason why we did this is because this is a transitional neighborhood, the Halsey Village neighborhood. And I'm approached 3 or 4 times a week by homeless people looking for some honest work. They want to wash the windows, they want to do the floors, they want to help me unload whatever I'm bringing in. And I just can't give them all jobs, but what we can do as a team is give them a hot, delicious, nutritious meal. So I did some research and realized that right across the street, right here, is Bridges. And they have been in business since, Richard, since when?
1988.
1988. And they work with the homeless. And what happens is, for $1.32, which gets you a meatball and Parmesan cheese, that's our cost. And all these people right here over the last couple of weeks have purchased meals, over 140 meals going so far. And what happens every Friday at 1:30, we used to do it over there across the street, but we've gotten so many people on this program that now they come to Meatball Obsession and they enjoy our people and they enjoy the food. So it's a program called Pay It Forward, and we are very much celebrating it. And Richard, thank you very much for being our partner.
Thank you, Meatball Paul. I am honored to be here. This is very exciting for us. As you heard, Bridges is 30 years old, and for most of that time, our work has consisted of runs to various places in New York City, to Irvington, to Newark, and we're now providing about 65,000 meals every year through those runs. 4 years ago, things really changed for Bridges, opening Project Connect in Newark, which is a much more holistic case management approach to homelessness, really working with, as our founders call, our street friends, and meeting them where they're at, figuring out what they need, and in partnership with St. James Health, making sure that they're getting health screenings, they're getting substance abuse, mental health, they're getting assistance with rental arrears, they're getting placement in shelters, they're getting absolutely everything that we possibly can. So to be able to partner with Meatball's Obsession Plus and the committed, supportive citizens of Newark to pay it forward in a program like this and continue to help feed our homeless clients is a real blessing. So thank you so much for having me here and for this partnership. Thank you.
The next distinguished guest we have is Aisha Glover. She is the president and CEO of the Newark Community Economic Development. And we'll give her, I'll bring her up in a second, but I just want to tell you a little story. We've opened stores in Ohio and in New York and in Boston, and I will tell you, when we came to Newark, and we were building this around Thanksgiving and around Christmas time, so not the best time to be doing this as far as getting assistance and cooperation. But I got to tell you that Aisha's team, especially Norma Gonzalez, raise your hand, please. It was remarkable coming here and working with Norma and her team to get us open, and they really took care of us. When I was in New York, I felt like I literally was in a jungle trying to fend for myself and do everything by myself, but Norma and her team extended a huge hand and made opening this business not just easy, but a pleasure. So with no further ado, I'd like to bring up Aisha Glover.
I like Meatball Paul. I like that. You have to come up with something for Norma. What rhymes with Norma? No? No? Okay. Well, thank you, and congratulations. It's definitely exciting to be in this space again. We've had a few ribbon cuttings here, and I have to say there's something a little bit different about Meatball Obsession, how you're starting this. I think there's a lot of integrity in that. I think that you have a truly sustainable model. The way that you've automatically gotten off on the right foot, and then also just having a bit of a foundation behind you obviously helps. This is not your first time at the rodeo, so we're really looking forward to you being here for years to come. Thank you so much for the investment. And then being on Halsey Street. Halsey is booming. I know you called it a transformative. We are transforming. It's rapidly transforming. But this is the corridor to be at. It's quaint. There's a lot underway, a lot in the works. I'm really excited to be able to be working on a lot of that under the mayor's leadership. I also heard that you're going to be signing up for our buy local program, so I have to say that publicly in order to put you on the spot.
And we'll take her sign downstairs.
Awesome, good. And I also just appreciate your roots, like really drawing on the authentic elements, ingredients, really what's going into the meatballs. I have to say that we are going to have to change the North Side Bakery into like Damascus Bakery or something. We have a few local bakeries, some of which relocated from Brooklyn, and I can say that as a native Brooklyn girl. So yes, just recognizing you wanting to procure locally and partner up and really thinking about where you're getting your ingredients. I feel like you guys are thinking about everything along the way. So we are ready, willing, and able to continue to support you and thinking about marketing and how we ensure that we're driving you business. So thank you for your work. Excited to have you here. And I think I'm introducing next.
Please do. You need an introduction, but please do.
I have to introduce. This is my favorite part, actually. A lot of the growth and development, people think that it just happens. It's going to happen anyway. It has to be strategic. I appreciate that you guys are already thinking about the community engagement piece, the give back piece, your impact, because not a lot of retailers and not a lot of corporations think that way. And when they don't, I know that I have a driving element behind me that makes sure that we're thinking about it, and that is the mayor who is leading us with that passion and is making sure that it plays out across the city. So I would not be here without him, and I do consider it an honor and a privilege to serve under our mayor, Raz Baraka.
Thank you. Somebody gave you that name, Meatball Paul, or you came up with that on your own. But I just want to say thank you for believing in Newark and choosing to open their business here in the city of Newark. I want to thank Aisha and NCDC, Norma, for being a point on this, making sure that you guys could become a part of our family in an easy and smooth and seamless way. It's always important to make sure businesses could join the family without any fighting in the front. It might be something going down the line, but none in the front end. So we appreciate that. And we already, as Aisha said, you're already on board with most of the things that we're trying to do, sourcing locally, right on the money. And if we could get you to do more of that, that's exactly what we're trying to do. When you source locally, you employ people in our community, you help us sustain other businesses in the city, you help us grow our economy. So you're right on the money. We are pushing and struggling around this homeless issue in the city of Newark. So for you to have a program that adds to that is another, feather in your cap in terms of your business model. We appreciate that wholeheartedly because we believe that the problems of our city are all of ours and not just a few people down at City Hall. That's right on the money. And the last thing that I, put another feather in your cap is some of these meatballs are vegetarian. Yeah. So that's, I used to drive past it and say, I've never eaten there. But now when I come in here, I was wrong. There's some, vegan meatballs, and maybe I'll be able to eat here after all. So it's a great option. Healthy food is right around the thing that I'm interested in. So I'm glad you guys are here. It adds a kind of flavor to this block. People tend to try to do the same things over and over again. You add a different component to it is right up what we need here in the city. We appreciate you believing in our community, and we're going to embrace you and make sure that this business stays up and running. We need it. Thank you.
Yes. So if you'll join us now, we'll do a little bit of ribbon cutting, and then we'll have a toast. Let's go inside for a quick toast. We have rosé here, Prosecco. But here, let me tell you the story behind this. Prosecco is Italian sparkling wine, and it's red in color because where are we? We're in Brick City. And so the rosé is all about the red of Brick City, and I propose a toast to the mayor and to the city of Newark.
Meatball obsession.
This is going to be the model going forward. It's a quick service restaurant serving meatballs and other things. That's what the plus is. The plus is about chicken parmesan and meatloaf and ravioli. And it's an Italian restaurant. And our motto is if grandma didn't do it, then neither do we. We are in the Halsey neighborhood, which is a transitional neighborhood. And you see the city sprouting to life right before your very eyes. And the energy is renewal and renaissance. And we are delighted to be part of it. There is building going on everywhere. And Newark is going to be the new Brooklyn as far as I'm concerned.